Hey everybody, it's Dustin Garman here for the 12th, and yes, I mean the 12th episode of Tell Us About Yourself with my friend here, Jeffrey Fox. How's it going, everybody? Today's guest is none other than Simon Strauss, aka the Dread Pirate Tech Support, or is it the Dread?
Ahoy, mateys!
How's it going, buddy? I'm glad you actually stepped up to the plank.
Oh
Happy
no,
to be here.
video off. Yep. Well, glad to have you, man.
While
Very good
everybody
to have you.
else is, it looks like everybody else is on a ship. I am actually on shore today.
Yes, because when you try to be on your ship being you.
Yeah.
You were confused by that.
Yeah, a little bit. But Simon, I'm glad to have you here. And I was actually going to talk to you a little bit and see if how you made your way into Super Show. And how long have you been playing now?
I've officially been playing since ArmorCon of last year is when I actually started playing. So that would have been pretty sure we're closing just about the year mark now.
Time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure.
Oh, indeed.
and and now I'm seeing you doing events and stuff like that. You just had one this past week. Sadly, my internet was weak enough to mess me up. I couldn't participate in it, but I heard it was pretty fun.
Oh, it was wild. That, I believe, was the D-lister event, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was fun, especially when we spontaneously decided, well, we're talking about the people at the bottom of the list. So the people at the bottom of the list should get the last spot in the top. Because, well, you sucked so much. You're holding the theme.
But I was talking to you about your event, and I actually like that. I like the fact that you couldn't use people that were actually drafted in faction wars. I think it actually tournaments like that, the D-lister of course, shows the aspect of those that are I like to call underrated, not used much, but really good competitors. And I
Yeah, that's entirely why I did it. I was like, look, I don't believe there is a single competitor that is absolutely useless. Doesn't exist. The boss wouldn't allow it into the game. So let's see who can be creative enough to make these turds shine. And, well, we saw there's people who are creative enough to make them really good in competitive decks and stuff there. It's kind of my whole philosophy behind when you create a competitor. It's not just one way to build a competitor. You got to be clever, you got to be sneaky, and you got to pull crap out of your butt that no one else is thinking is going to happen.
Now, one question I was going to ask you: do you really come from was you really into wrestling when you got into this game?
Not even remotely. The most was I had played a couple of wrestling video games ages ago back on the NES. My era of wrestling knowledge comes from Million Dollar Man, Andre the Giant, Yokozuna, that era. And it was mostly out of the periphery.
And also, I see you do this pirate gimmick now. So you really it seemed like you really enjoyed the CJ Sparrow character
Yeah,
or
just a
competitor.
little bit. I mean, the original concept for what I was going for was just purely tech support. And then I got the opportunity to pick up a CJ Sparrow competitor, started playing him, discovered I'm ridiculously good with him. And also, I just started doing the pirate voice, and, well, things kind of took a life of their own. And also, people haven't gotten sick of me doing the voice.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love it. I mean, to show even for as me and adults, but not only that, but as kids playing this game, it's entertaining, and I think it's really seeing you do this and bring it to life is actually a whole new meaning
I love it when anyone actually does their competitor or plays as their competitor and plays as playing their competitor. I originally had wanted and talked to the boss about a spectacle where if you actually are playing as the competitor you're playing as, you got something out of it. But he was like, nah, too complicated. Don't want to force people. I'm like, okay, fine.
See,
I come up with voices for as many of the competitors as I can come up with just because it's fun.
See, that's another thing. Also, I liked when when Leo Lyrics came out. Your finished submission that you use for him, you actually have to say.
That's right, baby.
I like to see something that would be cool. Something similar to you come out with a finish like that. That would be cool.
Well, my finishes aren't official yet, so we can work something.
you gotta say or it doesn't double your bonus. So getting into Super Show and everything, who did you come to first?
My first competitor, I actually would call it a toss-up between two. So, my first competitor, I think that I ever played a match with was as the Masked Llama, and I did that because I was friends with Ray. You might know him as Llama Senior. And I was like, well, Ray plays this. Ray loves this game. He must know a good competitor. Ray, I'm going to play your competitor. So, and then I also was doing El Super Hombre. I actually then discovered when I got home from the event afterwards that, oh, wait, I got this box of stuff in a battle bin ages ago, and it's for Super Show. So I've had the game for ages and never took it out of the box. Just because until there was an actual event to play at, I was like, okay, it's a thing in a box. I don't have friends. They don't do things with me.
And Jeff, have you got any questions for him?
We haven't got any questions yet, but I should remind people in the Zoom that they can use the raise hand feature and we'll get their questions, or on Twitch. They can post a question and we will pose it. So.
And also, Simon, have you always like, kind of like the pirates and kind of theme, or?
It's more something that I've stumbled upon that works for me very well. I mean, I've always enjoyed. It's hard as someone who wants to do something, costume-wise, where you're built the way I am, aka fat. Because you look at anything anime, and they're all skinny boys. And then you look at pirates. Pirates wear big coats. Pirates wear lots of stuff. You can have any shape of body, you can be a pirate. So I was like, okay, I like pirates. I also like One Piece, so yeah.
All right, we do have a very important question from the Twitch chat from one Candyman, and it's: do you wish you had a hook for a hand?
No. They're pointy, and I'd probably stab myself.
Well, yeah, so.
Because I know me. I barely can manage not to touch me face when I'm supposed to be out in public.
Yeah. So, you said you didn't come into the game with a wrestling background, but did you come in with a competitive card game background or a other type of cooperative type game background?
See, that's where it gets a little weird. So back in middle school was when Magic came out, and I did play a little bit of Magic. I fell out of Magic roughly around, I want to say Homelands was the expansion or something. All I know is they introduced some kind of phasing rule, and I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. I'm done.
Okay.
I took one look at the Pokemon trading card game and was like, these rules don't even make sense. Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, well, I have some cards, but the cartoon's not clearly teaching me the rules. So, yep.
Buddy, I come from that cartoon. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Screw the rules. We have money.
Even though, like, I look back, I was trying to watch an older show, a Yu-Gi-Oh, like about a year ago, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cheesy.
Oh yeah. No, so competitive card game, not hugely. I do like my tabletop strategy and my miniature stuff. And that I think if anything is possibly where a lot of my kind of ideas and stuff come from there. I also do play a lot of a game that uses I play a game called Relic Knights, which uses cards and had a queuing system, so you had to strategically choose this guy's queued up, this guy's queued up, this guy's queued up, and you can't change the queue unless you have something that screws with the queue. So there was a little bit of that kind of strategic stuff going on. But I've always kind of just, like I said, I enjoy going with the what can I do to break this in a fun and entertaining way? What's no one tried yet? There was a game I played called Pulp City, which has a rule where you can actually, it's very comic booky, so you can have your superhero or supervillain character jump off of something onto someone else and do damage to them. I never thought of having someone climb up a 5-foot ladder, jump off, and repeatedly Goomba stomp someone. But with enough movement, it's like, yeah, I can just do that over and over. So I find holes and things. I come from, my whole thing has always been, how can I break this?
I like that. Like make a sort of kind of like I guess what I'm trying to say is make it different and like kind of like, I'm thinking of people like, Chugonomics. He made with his character, he makes it to where, you show your hand to your opponent and just different things like that. And, you can see the top card of your opponent's deck or yours. And I think different things like that from a perspective is pretty cool it makes it, I guess it kind of brings you out, I guess as yourself. But it's pretty interesting to see, different things of what people are doing in this game.
All right. So, we're going to go with a quick question and then a longer one. I mean, I'm reversing the order we got them. The first one is another one from Candyman. Do you ever speak pirate in your head because you're so used to doing the accent?
All the time.
And then the longer one comes from Kitten by Nico. I hear the captain be into 3D printing. How did the captain
Just
get
a
into
bit.
it?
Can't imagine why she'd think that.
Was it always a hobby, or did someone get you into it?
I got myself into it. It's kind of the natural progression of the miniature painter and the mini modeler person of, okay, I've got all these fun minis that I need to paint that I've assembled, but what if I could make my own?
Yeah.
So I could have more that I haven't painted yet, that I haven't assembled.
Yeah.
And then you get another printer. So you can do better ones that you haven't painted, that you haven't assembled.
Yeah. You buy enough Reaper bones, you start thinking, like, I think I could do this better.
It was more you get the FDM printer and you're like, the quality's not quite good enough. I tweaked it as hard as I can. I got a little toilet paper dwarf thing here. He looks okay. But if I could make him even better.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about actually coming to you and asking you about one of those because I seen one that you did recently, Chris Pagillo's Bombadas.
And the Dragon Tower. Yeah.
Oh, they look so cool. And first thing he said in our group chat when he showed it off, he was like, "I've got to put this in front of my camera when I'm playing because it looks it looks just so badass."
Well, this one here be cannolis. It has to get painted.
It has become a pirate ship.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
There you go.
So this one needs to be painted. I've got the Titantron one that I designed myself. So yeah, that was another thing that happened was thanks to you guys and seeing, oh look, you can make cool stuff. You make this. Yes. And then I discovered, oh, I'm not half bad at this 3D design manipulation thing. So I made the Titantron one, which is still going through its last tweaks, and then it'll be ready.
Yeah, we threw a lot of ideas at you for that one, developing purposes.
Oh, that you did. That you did. And they just released a Kraken Tower.
Oh, wow.
So guess who's making himself a Kraken Tower?
I wouldn't know.
Oh man, that has to be a huge tower.
Yeah.
Alright, so, with the ease that you like to get into the accents and things like that, did you have any theater background, or just from other various comics?
No, not really. I was that weird kid who used to just talk to himself and make up funny voices growing up. That's pretty much it. I mean, I just look at the characters and I go, what kind of voice can I give this person? Or something like that. It's completely untrained. The only thing I ever did was I sang in chorus and I did voice lessons, so I trained my voice at least to be able to do things. But
Okay.
no, I just look at it and go, okay, what kind of voice would this person have? I when I play Dr. Jake Hill, I give him a bit more of a little more higher pitch, and I like to lisp his S or make his S's kind of a little more. It's a little creepy sounding.
I like that. It's using imagination through
Yeah.
that, and a lot of these, you see people.
And then there's some who've heard me do the Joker.
Well, I got to hear this.
Oh, you haven't heard the Joker?
No, I hadn't. I hadn't heard it.
Hello, boys and girls.
Oh,
I like it.
the Mark Howell Joker.
Oh yes,
The best Joker. Hands down. I don't care what anyone says. But,
So to go back into Super Show, what really, what really, I guess, like you say, you didn't come from a wrestling background, but did just the play style itself bring you to it, or?
Yeah, it proved to be a very entertaining, very well-designed game that had a lot of different fun aspects to it, and the community also drew me in. The online play has been a godsend, especially since I'm trapped in here.
Yeah, can't go nowhere on a boat.
Nope. Cabin fever.
But yeah, you're talking about it being a godsend. It really has. I can't play in every one of them, of course, but just sitting at home and I'm gonna be here 2 or 3 days or 2 or 3 hours. Oh my God, there's an event on today. Why not join it? And I think it's helped a lot of us, I guess, calmer. Like for me, it helped me be a little bit more calmer, and because I was thinking throughout this whole COVID thing which my work hadn't slowed down, but it gives me more to do when everything was all shut down. And
yeah, I mean, my normal things were I would meet up with my friends to play board games once a week. I would. I like to play a lot of MMOs, but I haven't been doing much of that lately. That was my other kind of big social thing. So this is kind of taking that spot. And my wife keeps complaining that I'm doing it too much and I need to take a break. And I'm like, but it's how I be social.
Alright, so we have another question from the Twitch chat from Nico again. Captain, where's the rum gone?
It's upstairs.
Oh, man. Distracted by himself. Alright, so, how have you found the process of creating your competitor the process and how your mindset has changed since you bought it to now that you're getting farther into the development?
Oh, that's a good one. So, in the beginning, it was just trying to come up with what is thematic and interesting. And this was, of course, before Dread Pirate Tech Support was Dread Pirate Tech Support.
Mm-hmm.
So originally, when I was just tech support, the whole idea was centered around the whole turning it off and back on again thing. And I mean, there was all the times where everyone's like, ask the boss for the world, the stars, and the sun, because if you do, then when he tries to nail it down, you get more. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not how you do a proper game or anything.
Yeah.
So I can do it. It's not going to be what I think it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is.
So I was never trying to come up with any wild and wacky ideas.
And to interject there, that is also a very good way to get your competitor worse than you want it to be, because the boss is not an idiot.
No, he's not.
Well, I mean, he is, but not about that.
Yes. Oh, sure. Trick question.
Yeah. Definitely a crime wave.
So yeah, so originally it was the whole turn it off and back on again. And then David Marisek's competitor came out. And he stole my shtick.
Wow.
So that was about the same time I got CJ Sparra. The pirate thing came in, and we got a new shtick.
Perfect timing for it then.
Yes. And we started playing around with ideas for gimmicks, and I kind of always have wanted to be able to, like I said, my whole thing has been always pulling stuff out of my butt. So that's kind of where the ideas I came up, the iterations on gimmick, chatting with some of the guys who've done it a lot has been very, very helpful. Rev, Harvey Luster, Bombada, Hold the Line Harry, all of them have been huge as far as talking that through.
Mm-hmm.
And have you actually, because a lot of times I know with myself, before I've made these characters, I would write down like where I would actually go to the public library before I had a printer, and I would print these off and try to play test them months and months and months, and which I tried my best not to make mine, people like to say, don't make them broken. I try to make them enjoy them, but have you play tested yours much?
I have play tested the Dread Pirate a little bit. Right now, the only thing that seems to be solid at the moment does seem to be his gimmick. What honestly came up first was his name, roughly what the gimmick was, and then the naming scheme for the finishes. The actual what the finishes do has been the hardest part. The other thing was the art. The art was a little tricky. Not in figuring out what the art should look like for my actual competitor, because I took a picture of me dressed up as my competitor, and if you ever see me in at an event or something, I will be dressed as my competitor. I will be making the shoulder pads and all the other. When you see the competitor, you'll know. You'll understand.
Yeah,
but what I told the boss was, it's me, but as Barbosa, but techie.
We have a random question from Chuggy,
Yes.
which is actually in here. He said, Coke, Pepsi, or RC?
Neither. I don't drink cola at all.
I wish I could say that. I need to lay off a little bit.
It's a combination of a couple of things. One is I don't really like the flavor of any of them. I also am diabetic, so they murder me. And I honestly just prefer straight seltzer water with a little bit of a fruit juice mixed in.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, which, which you said you were diabetic. That runs in my family as well. And I'm afraid as I get older, I have to, like every 6 months get tested for stuff like that. So maybe I need to follow in your footsteps. It's a whole lot healthy. It'd be a whole lot healthier for me. I know that for sure.
Pirates don't need the carbs.
All right. We have another question from the Twitch chat. Any interest in creating a tag team partner for Krampus, the sled pirate?
Well, that sounds fun. Maybe. I mean, I've had a couple of ideas that I think I've shared around. The tag team idea I've been throwing around was Dread Pirate and CJ was Parlay. And of course, there's the CJ, Dread Pirate, Salty Sailor one, the boatload of seamen.
Oh, man.
But I even think I had a, curiously enough, just because it was another one who I was looking at, Alien Invader and Dread Pirate, the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
We can get that alien drunk.
Yep. Oh, man. So that'd be more of a gin and tonic line of drinks, because
No, we could probably come up with something.
Every culture has a
interesting
gin and tonic.
breakfast. That could be fun.
Yeah, I was fixing to ask you. You know, you were talking about tag teams. If you were actually gonna make I would say faction, but it's not fitting. A crew.
The Dread Pirates crew is forming. We'll be recruiting later.
So, a question I have. You have obviously we've touched on you running lots of events, or a few events and whatnot, and building up. But you have a huge support for charity and charity support and Second Life. And so, how did you get involved with that? Extra Life, yes. Sorry, Second Life is a video game. How did you get involved?
I'm not going to call it a weird one, but it's a unique taste. Second Life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how did you get involved at being raising money for Extra Life?
A friend of mine who I actually met through my wife introduced me to Extra Life several years ago. And I was like, oh, I can play video games and raise money for sick kids. This seems like a win-win. So started just with simple participation and just kind of took off from there, and then discovered, because I usually would volunteer at like PAX East or any of the other conventions that are near Anime Boston, any of the ones I'm up here in the Northeast in the Boston area, so it makes it easy to hit those two. Mm-hmm. And whenever someone would come by, I'd be like, so, are you planning on playing any video games or any games whatsoever between now and the end of the year? And they usually say yes, because they're at PAX. It would be a bit weird if they weren't.
Yeah.
Do you want to raise money for sick kids? And they usually say, yeah, sure. I'm like, well, have I got a great thing for you? So I usually talk them into it. And last time we were at PAX, we actually broke 1,000 people recruited, which was our goal had been half that.
Yeah, I always say it's not what you just do in the game. It's you know, it's how you it's things that you good deeds that you bring out, from the outside of this game. I highly respect you for that. I think, it's a good cause and stuff like that, and anything charity and stuff like that, man.
Yeah, and you guys, the whole community here has been super supportive of it too. I mean, that one event we ran has already blown every year-to-year record I've done out of the water. The most I had ever gotten up to, I think, was maybe 2,000-ish. And we're already at almost getting let me look and see exactly where we're at right now, because we had a few more donations even just today.
$3,385.
Yep.
Yep, and a $25 donation from a cat today.
Yes, from a cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I did, and for people watching, I did post a link to the Extra Life in the Twitch chat, so you can watch on it and click on it.
Please feel free, donate more.
Yep.
We originally had upped our goal after our Extra Life event that we did earlier to 5,000, because you blew the previous one out of the water, as you can see by all my little stretch goals. Yeah, so I have to make a new deck box, another dice tower. I will be dressed as the pirate on game day. I will be talking like the pirate all day on game day, and will be singing sea shanties on game day while I do 100 squats.
And for the listeners who might not know when the game day is to catch in and see all this, when would that be for them?
I do believe it'll be November 7th. I'm going to double check. It's always the first weekend of November. So it will be November 7th into November 8th. We usually start early in the morning on the 7th. Normally, I'd have people come over to my house. We'd play games all day. Usually, we do video games, swapping between them. Usually a mixture of Jackbox games and whatever else I've got kicking around or whatever seems to be popular at the moment. I will pick up games just for the sake of doing it. This year, we'll be doing it a little different because COVID. Yay! And anyone who's donated so far incentive-wise also, I don't think they realized I did an incentive in it where you could challenge me during game day for a match with stipulations of your choice on game day in Super Show.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who did that ended up instead using it that one event to.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm okay with doing it both ways. That's fine, but that's not what I had intended. But okay.
Because I think I was one of those that would.
Oh, I know that was, I think, the best thing. It was like, so what snip shall we? Who wants to throw a snip on this one? We had fun with that.
Yeah.
I always like to. I like to watch the world burn. Let chaos reign.
Yeah. Especially for a good cause.
Exactly.
Chaos reigning to help children who need the help is probably the best way to have chaos.
Indeed. So yeah, so we had our goal. We bumped it to 5,000. I did a D&D stream. I want to say about a month-ish ago, and one of my players, whose character got a wish spell as a result of it, wished for us to double that goal again. I'm like, well, I kind of obligated, aren't I? So now our goal is 10,000.
Yeah. Well, and that's probably one of the best uses for a wish spell in D&D for it not to backfire.
Yeah, no, it was like not backfired at all on that one. Just gonna make me have to do a whole lot more stuff to try to hit it.
Yeah.
And I figured we would. Are we looking forward to any Super Show? Extra life.
There is
event?
going to be another Extra Life event that I'm going to do sometime before the actual main game day. That's guaranteed to be happening at some point. I'll talk with everyone and we'll set that up. We'll see if we can bring back the Extra Life spectacle cards because I thought that was a brilliant idea by Bell. I loved that idea. That was Bell's idea.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I loved it too because I run Newman, but the one I got was a Valiant, of course. But I don't care.
I'll see if I can come up with a new idea.
I keep it with my Newmans. I don't care. I enjoyed that spectacle, and just knowing that we did that. That's amazing to me that we brought that in here.
Yeah, I think Rev even had a great idea of. And I'm just going to share this out because I think Rev had a brilliant idea with it that maybe the community might go together and reskin a couple of finishes or come up with a couple extra finishes for donation for the various charities that the community supports, one of which could be the Extra Life something.
Hey, that's something cool too because Boss is always talking about, trying to build up. Which a lot of these new cards, like a couple episodes ago, we were talking about like Jigsaw. Like used to, you only had like 3 berry cards. I think, the boss is always talking about trying to help these older competitors, get more liking as well instead of all, just the new ones. It's always cool to try to build up these, and everybody's been talking forever. Donation is one of the worst. I don't like saying worst competitors. But
there are no worse competitors.
I know. But
we saw a Boy Howdy almost go all the way. Right? And we saw a Boy Howdy with all his normal finishes go 4-1.
Names like, Caleb Conley and all these others that, that are so underrated and you were even talking about, like Mass Llama. I love Mass Llama, and I think he's totally underrated as well. He's he's really fun to play with.
Oh, there's tons of them that are fun to play with. I've got a assortment that I'm planning on building up and doing stuff with too. So, like I'm planning on building a Great Oni Man deck. Mostly because, only reason I pulled off is because I'm like, how am I going to do a voice for that that's not going to be really offensive?
Yeah, yeah, fair. Oni Man is a very fun build, though.
Also, how do I pronounce that finish?
I just don't. I mean,
Finish submission.
I can barely pronounce my own finishes, and they're written in Philadelphia.
No, it's not that.
Yeah, Oni is hype.
Yeah, I like that idea. If we could reskin some of them finishes and also help a good cause, that's killing two birds with one stone. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I really
Yeah,
do.
no, it was all Rev's idea, and I was like, ooh, I like. So yeah, that's the whole Extra Life thing there in a nutshell. And currently we're 93rd ranked out of all the people fundraising.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That is really good.
So, what are some of your, things that you're looking forward to? I mean, I know this year, sadly, you didn't get to enjoy, we had virtual Grand Gathering, but it's not the same. I'm telling you, last year, and I said on the episode before, it was amazing, and
I heard already. I mean, we had Bombada in a shark costume.
Yeah, just don't jump off the boat.
No.
But yeah,
so
man.
It has me thinking what I'd be using for an entrance.
Oh, a lot of good ones to probably use for it.
Yeah,
pirate themed
events. I don't until there's a vaccine. Unfortunately, given I'm higher risk, I'm not coming out with the hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's right now. I think we're still iffy if this thing is even gonna, anytime soon, or could we be looking into next year? Who knows? But
when it happens, it happens. Until then, the gaming community is very resourceful.
Yeah. Indeed.
My friends have learned that tabletop simulator is a thing, and that they enjoy flipping the table.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's
something that
wonderful
most of us would probably pull our backs out trying to do in real life.
I don't even want to try. I have a bad laptop anyway. So.
Yeah. Tons of things out there for people to game of all types: tabletop simulator, fantasy grounds, Roll20, and the good old-fashioned zoom in the camera.
Yep.
All right. So here's a question from Chuggy, and this is one that I kind of actually really interested in the question for this. As that is one of my true loves. What is your favorite tabletop RPG?
Ooh, that's a hard one to answer because there's a number.
It's not that hard.
The one I play the most, the one I started with, is still traditional D&D. I've run D&D. I've played D&D. When I play D&D, I usually play a bard.
Okay.
Surprise.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
When I run D&D, I have run a couple of smaller one-shot, like I ran the one-shot one, where I actually reskinned and found a way to put the Lucha Maniacal Uberstar into D&D, which apparently is where he comes from, according to his roommate.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't actually pick that up. I didn't know that.
Comes from outer space and also e-wrestling background as well.
Yeah. But no, I found this really amusing barbarian concept where you can actually use the bard's cutting words to give your opponent a minus. They get specialization and expertise in athletics. They're barbarians, so when they're raging, they get advantage in athletics. And you basically create a grapple monster.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't bother with actually trying to actually hurt the person. You're just going to pin them. And you do it by talking smack to them. You've made a pro wrestler in D&D.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I do. D&D was always one of my favorites. I love Shadowrun.
Oh God, yeah.
But Shadowrun is such a hard game to get a campaign going for long enough before it just kind of folds in on itself.
Especially if you do it wrong, like I usually do.
I always wanted to do a Decker, and I was like, oh, look! 4th and 5th Ed figured out how to make Deckers work! Where they don't have to have their own separate campaign from everyone else.
It still it feels that way, though. That's the sad part. Oh, Shadowrun. So Shadowrun.
There's a bunch of other big shelves over in the gaming area.
Yes, off into the sunset.
Yeah, off into the sunset. Paranoia, I love.
Oh God, computer is your friend. Even yours, Dustin. Best trust in computer.
Yep. Trust in friend computer.
Gives
friend computer says you're happy because friend computer says you are.
Yes, it's a great usage of troubleshooter.
I'll trust into the computer, not the laptop.
I know. Sorry, since you said that, we're gonna have to shoot you.
Yep.
Paranoia is an amazing.
He's a mutant commie trader.
Yeah. Yep. Paranoia is an amazing game of killing your friends.
Yep, pretty much. I've played a bunch of Big Eyes, Small Mouth in various versions, mix of Fate games. Currently, I've got a Star Wars campaign that I'm part of where I rolled up a...
Fantasy Flight?
Yeah, Fantasy Flight Star Wars. It's a Twi'lek trader. His name is Dila No Dila. I was like, that is the most Star Wars name I've ever come up with.
Deal or no deal, yeah. Yeah, that's great.
The only other... originally, when I got dragged into that game, I had a droid character. Because they just kind of threw me this character, and I was like, okay, let's tweak it a little bit. And he was the worst droid ever. He's a medical droid.
Okay.
But I could not, for whatever reason, I could not roll successes when I was trying to heal people to save my life, but I could roll advantage like you wouldn't believe. Would you like some meth?
So it was a drug dealer.
He could give you a speed boost and pep you up, and like you wouldn't believe. Couldn't heal a wound at all. And then he was also, well, you're a computer, you're a droid, can you slice this door? And I'm like, no, she hasn't consented. So Droidberg was born. And he has done untoward things with an astromech droid and a few other entertaining things, and he seems to always wind up back on the ship, mostly because they sell him. Then they just kind of find he's back.
Oh man. Well, that's the best racket though. If you sell something and it comes back to you, it's a good way to make money.
You don't want him. No one wants him. I don't think even Droidberg wants him. There's that character. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I played? Mostly it. I played a little bit of Monster of the Week.
Okay.
But I could go on and on about all the different RPG games I probably got kicking around. I think I've got one that's actually based on doing exercise. And there's actually a Paranoia variant for that game where you have to do squats as the skill challenges or something.
You seem like the kind of guy that would probably love a game like Blades in the Dark.
I've played Blades in the Dark. I actually came up with, I was a, what was the name? Not a mastermind, a web weaver or something.
Yeah. Spinner?
Yeah, web spinner or something. Yeah. I was like, okay, so my character spends his entire downtime basically doing a giant trading quest. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why we have a llama, where this llama came from, but I'm going to trade it for this other thing, that I'm going to trade for this other thing, that I'm going to trade for this other thing. And we're now into that episode of Tailspin where Baloo was trading everything to eventually get whatever. And somehow at the end of this campaign, I'm going to trade this for a big payoff. Welcome to the running gag of this character.
Oh man! All right. So it looks like we got about 7 minutes left in our scheduled time. So if anyone has any final questions, now is a good time to set them forward. Give you a minute or two. Do you have any questions?
If we don't have any questions yet, I'm just going to point out one small thing to the public.
Sure.
Mr. Press 1P.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, that's Dustin's buddy there. That is Dustin's boss you're talking about.
Excuse me, Jeff. We don't have a boss.
Okay.
You had the balls, the cannonballs, to play as CJ Sparrow in the Virtual Grand Gathering singles. But you didn't have what it takes, and the one true pirate has knocked ye out through diversity.
Oh.
So, when ye be ready to learn how a true pirate plays this game, we can have a pirate off. And that's all I'd be saying on that now.
I'm sure that message is going to find its way back into the Impact chat.
I don't know from who, though. I mean,
See, Dustin.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of scared to ask this question. Simon or Press 1?
Oh. Well, we know who's the better CJ Sparrow.
We do. I am seriously surprised that he hasn't seen as much play as... He's such a good competitor.
He really is. I like the, I like the recursion of being able to shuffle back and, the cards that you really want, and especially late game. I mean, game over. It's, if you keep rolling, roll your...
Oh, look, I have no deck. Gimmick. Finish. Mm-hmm. Gimmick. Finish. It's gonna hit.
Yeah, it's very good recursion.
And plus, is... let's see here. Where's the rum is the one that makes his breakout rows -1 and -2.
Oh, that de-locks the blank.
Okay. I got them mixed up. But that one's deadly. I mean, think of a -2 to a breakout. I mean, you roll a 9 or 10, you better hope to God you roll on your third. I mean...
Yep. And I like finding, that's why I love like I said, I love also finding just goofball characters that no one thought of. That's when I discovered, well, look, perfect stat match between Invisible Man and Lone Bear and Cub. Invisible Bear! And he has an agility 15 crowd meter 0 finish. Okay, I love this.
Oh yeah, that little bear finish.
Smash.
Yeah, it's a brutal finish, especially in Tornado. Yeah.
Now, was CJ one of your mains, or who are some other competitors that you kind of, you really? I know you mentioned Mass Llama earlier.
I haven't rebuilt Mass Llama since the early times. I really should go back to it.
One that he was known early in the pandemic for was Random Guy.
Yep.
And even when he was only a +1.
Yeah, no, I had the +1 Random Guy, got thrown into a bird. That was the funny one. I did not even realize the goofballness of, wait, we're going to put Random Guy in a bird cage. Everyone's rolls are going to trigger this. No one saw that one coming. Not even me.
It was a good way to paint a target on you, though.
Oh, yeah, no. I seem to, anytime I play a birdcage, that seems to be my role. Numero uno. Random Guy.
I found that out the hard way like last year's Gen Con, I was coming in at 6, and I was like, yes, I'm last place.
No, it was
There's
numero
gonna be
uno was
like,
just simply everyone rolling enough tens all day long, and I'm like, yep, got override back, override. I can't roll to actually get any of you, but I'm gonna keep playing this.
I remember coming in at 6 and then getting eliminated first. I'm like, what?
Oh man, that is tough. All right. Doesn't seem like we have any final questions from the chats. So, you got anything else, Dustin?
I don't have any more questions, but I just, whoa, one sec. Camera went off. You can still hear me though, right?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right. I hit my plug in. But what I was going to say is, I've enjoyed having you on here. I really, really love the pirate thing you do. I think you're one that could be really energetic, and seeing these younger people even playing, and kids and stuff like that. You talked about Shaggy Shark, dressing up as a shark. Well, you being a pirate is just awesome.
Oh yeah.
And kids and doing this extra life thing. I think above all, you're going beyond. Above and beyond just outside the game itself. And I think it's cool how you brought the game into, extra life as well. And as long as it's in the game, I'm supporting it all the way.
Absolutely.
I appreciate all you're doing, buddy. And all I can say is keep the boat rolling.
All right, so we did get one final question in from the Twitch chat, and it's a pretty good one to end on, and it is, what rum do ye be looking for? From Master Micah.
What rum do I be looking for? The rum that ye have, so I can take it back.
All right, and with that, thank you all for watching, and thank you, Dread Pirate, for being on the show.
And I also want to say before we cut this off, I've been actually trying to say our special guest for the following week. Pretty Boy Snow was actually going to be our guest today, but sadly, he got a new job and stuff. So I appreciate Simon coming up here. He was actually going to be our guest next week. So with that being said, I am going to say first come, first serve. PM me and you can be our next week's guest.
All right. Wow.
And I am also currently working on October. So I should have October here just about done as well with guests. And like I said, just PM me and I'll get you in on the show.
All right, everyone. So you've heard it here first. Hit Dustin up if you want next week's spot or down in the future. Thank you, Simon. Thank you all for watching and coming into the Zoom. And we will see you all next week.
And I'll see you later.